Hey everyone, Diane here. Today, we are going to be using our wonderful minds to help me think through a problem I'm having. Can you help me think through this problem? Whew, wonderful. I knew I could count on you. So here's the situation. I wanted to make a sandbox in my neighborhood, but I need to make a plan first and a list of materials. I started on making a list, but I am a little stuck on knowing how to figure out how much of which material I should use. I thought about using some wooden boards because I think they would be a good place to go around the outside of the sandbox. From my plan here, we've got two separate sandboxes. One is 6 foot by 8 foot, and the other is a 4 foot square. The question here is, how can I show how much material we will need to build each of these sandboxes? Do you have any ideas? Oh, I heard some really good ones. Someone said, add them up. Another person said, count around the outside. Oh wait, I just heard another idea. Find the perimeter? Hold on, friends. I just heard a word that I think we need to explore. Someone told me to find the perimeter. Looking at this, I see the word meter, and I know that meter means to measure. Then I know the root peri means around. So that makes me think that perimeter must be measured around. That's a lot like what some other people said. So let's start looking at the first sandbox. I want to find the perimeter of each of the two sandboxes. So try exploring how you would find the total measure around the 6 foot by 8 foot sandbox. Those are some really great strategies that I just heard. One strategy I heard was to add 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8. They went around the rectangle and put the lengths of the sides together to find the total. I know that 6 plus 8 equals 14. Then 14 plus 6 equals 20. And lastly, 20 plus 8 equals 28. But we can't forget what we're talking about. 28 what? Cats? Ironing boards? Of course not. We're talking about feet. So for this sandbox, we would need 28 feet of wood to go around it. Another option I heard was that someone did 6 times 2 plus 8 times 2. I wonder why that would work. I see that there are 2 sides measuring 6 feet and 2 sides measuring 8 feet. Do you think they saw that and decided that multiplication was a better option for them to solve it? Let's try this out and see if it matches what we got from our last time solving it. So 6 times 2 equals 12, and 8 times 2 equals 16. 12 plus 16 equals 28. But 28 what though? Exactly, feet. Now, let's move to the 4 foot square. Let's think back to what we know about squares. We've got 4 right angles, opposite sides are parallel, and 4 equal sides. 4 equal sides is going to be helpful. I know that one side is 4 feet, so all the other sides must be 4 feet as well. How would you find the perimeter of this sandbox? Yeah, you could definitely add all the sides up. So 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Or you could use multiplication and do 4 times 4. Either way, What did y'all come up with? Very nice, 16. But 16 what? Are we back to cats? Exactly, 16 feet. As we look at this now, we've got 2 perimeters for the sandboxes and can get a total to put on the plans so they are on their way to getting approval. With Sandbox 1 having a perimeter of 28 feet and Sandbox 2 being 16 feet, I can add all those together to get 44 feet of wood needed to go around both of the sandboxes. But what would happen if we made this into one big sandbox? While you're looking at this, I want you to think, does the perimeter change? And how did it change from before? You think it would be less because there isn't wood on one side of the square. Let's take a look and use the dimensions from when there were 2 sandboxes to figure out the new perimeter. This dotted line shows where the side of the square sandbox used to be. Now, it's going to be filled and covered with sand. Remind me how to find perimeter again? You go ahead and whisper it to me. Exactly, we can add all of the side lengths together. So help me get all the side lengths in a number sentence, and then we can get to adding. So we have 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 6. That's a lot to keep track of. Take a little bit and see if you can make it easier for yourself. Oh, what is that you're doing? I see someone combined 6 plus 4 to get 10. So now they have 8 plus 10 plus 4 plus 4 plus 10. Now, let's see. Where do we go from here? I heard someone explain their thinking and thought it was a great strategy. So I'm going to share it with you. They decided that combining the like values would be a good place to start. So they put 2 10s together, and then they put the 2 4s together to end up with 8 plus 8 plus 20. Then they put the 2 8s together to end up with 16 plus 20. And when they combined those 2 together, they got 36. But remember, 36 what? Cats? Of course not cats. That wouldn't keep sand in. It's feet. Do you think the perimeter would change if I moved the square part of the sandbox to the middle? Try it out and let's see. While you're waiting and thinking, I want you to try and think about if it changed or if it didn't change. I love this thinking that I'm hearing and I'm seeing about what would happen to the perimeter of the sandbox with the shift of the square part. Someone had this really great noticing, and I really wanted to share it with everyone. They said the L-shaped sandbox had 4 feet together on the side that had the square connected. This T-shaped one still had 4 feet. It just split it into 2 parts, one side with 2 feet and the other side with 2 feet. That was some really great noticing. Let's double check just to make sure. So my number sentence for this T-shape would be 8 plus 6 plus 2 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2 plus 6. If we look at what we had before, 8 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 6. They look pretty close to the same thing, so I think you're right. These are the same value. So whether it's a T or an L, this sandbox will need 36 feet of wood to go all the way around the outside. I think we should go with the L-shaped one. There is less cutting for me to do to make all of the sides. Now, let's try a challenge with finding the perimeter. In this case, I know all but one of the dimensions. So I'm gonna fill it in on here really quickly. Got 10 units here, 12 units here. I don't know how many units there. 2 units, 3 units, 2 units, 2 units here, and then 8 across the top. With these, we need to try to figure out what this dimension is so that way we can find the perimeter. This could be a sandbox or whatever you're thinking. But regardless, missing a dimension makes it difficult to find our perimeter. Lucky for us, we have our wonderful minds. So, something that I notice here that might help me is that this missing dimension here is a vertical line, meaning that it is going straight up and down. Do you notice any other dimensions that are connected to vertical lines? Yeah, for sure. This large dimension here of 10 units is going vertically. That's one that's probably going to be helpful. And then, do you notice any others? Yeah, exactly. These two here. So I've got this vertical unit, that's 3 units. And then I've got this vertical dimension, that is 2 units. And if I take these 3 dimensions, it looks like they're going to equal this vertical dimension. So let's figure out what that is. So, if I have this one that looks like it's going to be our total of all these dimensions, we've got 10 units is going to equal 2 plus 3 plus something. Where do you want to start to try and figure out what this something is going to be now? Yeah, I agree. The first thing that caught my eye was if I can combine 2 plus 3. What is it? Say it with me, everybody. 5. So now I have 5 plus something equals 10. What do you know about the relationship between 5 and 10? Oh, was that you said 10 is double 5? Yeah, so that means that I need 2 5s to equal 10. So that would say that our something would be 5 plus 5 equals 10. That's awesome. We have found our missing unit. We know that it equals 5. So our next step here is going to be to use all of these dimensions to be able to figure out the perimeter. What was the perimeter again? Exactly, the distance and total around the outside. Let's get started. I'm going to start with this vertical line, and I'm going to write down all of my dimensions in order so that way I make sure that I'm being accurate and effective. So, let's get started. We have 10 plus 12 plus our missing dimension 5 that we figured out with our wonderful minds, plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 and plus 8. Looking at that, it's a little overwhelming, but I know that we are capable of doing this. So, the first thing that I look for is, what do I know? What's something that is not too stressful for me to start solving? The thing that I notice is this 8 plus 2 right here. I'm going to combine that because I know 8 plus 2 equals 10. So I'm going to put 10 here. Now I'm going to bring down all of these other dimensions that I haven't combined yet, so that way I have a new number sentence. 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 12 plus 10. But Diane, you wrote them backwards. It's okay. The reason is that with addition, one, you can do things in a different order. But another thing is that this was for me to be able to make sure that I didn't lose a dimension in the process. I just found one. I don't want to lose another one. So I wrote them this way because that way I wasn't trying to smush things together. It's a good tip. You should try it out sometime. Now, let's get to adding. I'm going to do a couple pieces, and then we're going to check my answers. Make sure you are checking behind me. We've got 10 plus 12 to get 22. Now I'm going to bring these down, plus 5, plus 2, plus 3, plus 2, plus 10. Now let's take a look. I'm going to do 22 plus 5 to get 27, plus another 2 to get 29, plus 3 to get 32, plus 2 to get 34, and then plus 10 to have 44. So my final answer is 44 units. We talked about feet before, because we can't be talking about cats or ironing boards. We're talking about units this time because we're not exactly sure what this is drawn to be. So, isn't it so great that we can use our logic to solve different problems? Thank you so much for helping me find the perimeter of those sandboxes and this challenge problem. Knowing how much wood will be needed around will be really helpful with figuring out how much things will cost. This will be really helpful as well as I get my plans ready to turn in for the neighborhood. There are still a few more things that need to be figured out before I send the plans off. Come back next time to help me out some more with my sandbox situation. See y'all soon.